where the bomb is.
Just tell me where the bomb is.
Where's the real bomb?
Where's the bomb, Marie? The real bomb. Where's the memory chip?
Where's the chip?
Tell me where the evidence is. Just tell me where the evidence is.
So you probably by now have recognized that voice. I'm Richard RJ Eskow, and the voice you were just listening to on the 0 Hour was that of the fictional character Jack Bauer, the hero of the TV program 24, who was continually finding ticking time bombs, that hypothetical scenario which torture advocates use to justify torture. Well, Jack Bauer seemed to counter them every day. And, of course, he had to torture in order to justify his actions. Now, 24 seems to have burned itself into the American psyche as a way of justifying the horrific torture conducted in our name and with our money. A lot of people remember the show 24. Perhaps fewer people remember that the dean of West Point Academy, the military academy, that was Brigadier General Patrick Finnegan, brought some military personnel and FBI interrogators along with representatives of Human Rights First and met with the creative team behind 24, which was produced by Fox Television, asking them, begging them to stop using this artificial ticking time bomb scenario and stop depicting torture. Why? Because he felt quite correctly that it was putting U.S. personnel, both military and otherwise, at risk. There were copycat events taking place, and it is an extremely unrealistic depiction of the actual utility of torture. One of the things that most infuriates torture advocates about the Senate report, which was mild and in many ways and eliminated many of the worst abuses of the torture practice, was the fact that it pointed out that, in fact, torture does not work. It does not work. It does not work. So let me say that again. Torture does not work. What does it do? It encourages people who are subject to extreme pain to lie, to say whatever they believe their torturers wish to hear. Experienced interrogators understand that building a bond, building sympathy, building some sort of new identification on the part of the prisoner with the interrogator is much more effective than torture. But we now learn that CIA torturers didn't even bother asking for cooperation in many cases before they began to torture. Now let's go for justification, attempted justification of this practice, to the most incompetent, immoral, and failed political leader of the 20th or 21st century, Vice President Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney, when confronted with the torture report, said, and I quote, "The report is full of crap." Now, we won't challenge Mr. Cheney on crap because that is, of course, his area of expertise. But, in fact, Cheney was absolutely wrong on every account, just as his hideous mismanagement of our military policies led to the most wasteful and pointless and destructive war in modern history. $3 trillion wasted money, thousands of lost American lives, hundreds of thousands of lost Iraqi lives, and, of course, the rise of ISIS, ISIS being the fruit of Dick Cheney's efforts. Now, Dick Cheney said, I have no sympathy for them, meaning the detainees, and of course he doesn't, even though a significant number of them were absolutely innocent, as we now know. Why should Dick Cheney have sympathy for them? He doesn't appear to have sympathy for anyone. Then he said, and this was on, of course, Fox News, the House organ of American evil, how nice do you want to be to the murderers of 3,000 Americans on 9/11? Of course, those innocent detainees, some of whom were forced to stand on broken feet, were not murderers of anyone. He says the CIA did a hell of a job and they deserve our gratitude. If by hell of a job you mean hell of a job recruiting for ISIS, then yes, they did a hell of a job. I'd do it again in a minute, says Dick Cheney. Well, of course you would do it again, but then, of course, you would do a lot of things again, Dick Cheney. Look, Dick Cheney should be wearing handcuffs and standing in a court of law to face prosecution for what the evidence overwhelmingly suggests is criminal behavior on his part. But of course, that will never happen because we have a president of the United States now who says we look forward rather than backward. I look forward, should I ever commit a crime, to standing in the dock and telling the judge, I did it, but Your Honor, we should look forward instead of backward. Now, Jack Bauer, fictional character, ticking time bomb, fictional scenario. And where does that fictional scenario take us? If we really believe that there is a ticking nuclear bomb that is going to kill millions of people, something that will never happen in real life, anything would be morally justifiable. Murdering children would be morally justifiable. Any act of horror would be morally justifiable. So you see what these torture people do? You see what they do? They create a fictional scenario. They then move forward and pretend as if we're in that fictional scenario. They terrify us into compromising our deepest and most sacred moral principles. And then that is how they corrupt us. That is unacceptable. That is unallowable. That is not who we are. We must reject the morally depraved and debased leaders like Dick Cheney. We must reject the moral cowardice of leaders who would not prosecute them. And we must become the people we were intended to be. I'm Richard, RJ Eskow, and this is The Zero Hour.
The vials.
Where are the vials?
Where are the 11 vials?
11 vials of the virus are unaccounted for. Where are they?
Where are the vials?
Where are the vials? How do I find the vials?
Where are they holding the Secretary of Defense?